No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today, having a conversation with somebody that, would you describe yourself as a local legend?
For sure.
I feel like you're somebody I'm going to get a lot of credit for interviewing because everybody from up north, Bay Area, et cetera, is going to be like, oh my God, that's fucking lit that you got Prezi.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm looking forward to that.
For sure.
I need as much positive affirmation as possible.
All right.
So how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Can't complain.
I honestly can't remember who told me to interview you. Do you remember this at all?
All black.
That's who did it. Okay, all right.
All black.
I was looking at my Swamp Stories DMs being like, who from up north would be like telling me to interview you or something?
Yeah,
But
nah.
okay, All Black suggested it, right? That makes sense.
It's my dog.
So I don't know. Let's start with your early life. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up.
Man, I grew up in San Francisco in the Bay Area, San Francisco on Harbor Road. Mm-hmm. Been there my whole life since a kid, born and raised. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I watched a vlog of you sort of like hanging out in the, like, not projects, but like a bunch of different housing type shit. Where you grew up?
Them the projects.
Okay,
they just fixed them. They just recently fixed them up a few years ago to try to make it look better. But growing up, it was like the grimiest of the grimiest.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the exact area that you grew up in?
Yes, exact area, yeah.
Okay. And how was life out there?
It was rough, but it was cool at the same time because everybody was family. It's like a neighborhood, housing projects by the shipyard. I don't know if you're familiar with it in the Bay Area.
A little bit, yeah. I feel like I've been over by that way riding bikes over the years.
Yeah. Back then, wasn't no riding bikes. We wouldn't be able to ride no bikes today. It was treacherous to it.
Maybe adjacent to it, but not directly in the projects, yeah.
Yeah, now it was rough, but it was cool at the same time because it was family. And we had everything up there from basketball field, basketball court, football field, baseball field, tennis. So we didn't really have to leave. We had a candy house that was like a store. We didn't really have to leave. It was like family fun. Like,
so somebody was basically running a bodega out of their living room?
kind of, if you put it like that, yep. They had fries, nachos, anything you ask.
That's dope. That's kind of like a precursor to now where everybody like makes food and sells it on Instagram and shit now.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your parents like?
My dad wasn't never really around. He was in and out of jail. But my mom, she had 6 kids. Well, she got 6 kids. And it was rough, but, you know, she made it work. She made it work for us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what kind of kid were you? Were you doing all right in school, or were you getting in trouble like from an early age?
I was all right in school for the most part, just a class clown, really. Just a class clown, just always in trouble, always. But not like really like doing too much crazy stuff, just playing too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely. And where you're from, is it like a gang thing, or is it more like just based on your neighborhood in terms of how people move around?
Nah, this is based upon your neighborhood where you grew up at, where you was born and raised. Like, you know, there's a bunch of different projects where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like in LA, there's a lot of people who are like from gangs, but they're actually not really from there. They just kind of linked up with them.
Nah. Everybody who from where I'm from was born there and raised there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at what age did, like, I don't know, were you seeing like crazy shit go on outside your house all at a young age?
I'm talking about since as far as back as I can remember, 5, 6 years old, I remember like, you know, shootings, we got down, is, you know, like seeing drug deals, everything going on. Like the projects was so crazy at the time, but at the same time it was family. Mm-hmm. So it was like you see so much and you just adapt to it. Like
when you're young, are your memories like of just people having issues with each other like within your area, or did you like know that there were other neighborhoods you guys weren't supposed to get along with at a young age?
Nah, you know, it's other neighborhoods that we didn't get along with, so you kind of just like grow accustomed to it, like
just different areas that you don't go.
Yeah, you just don't go over. You know, if you go over there, it's gonna be a problem.
Right.
For sure.
Definitely. Okay. And so, what was high school like for you?
High school was rough. When I went to high school, middle school was kind of rough a little bit. That's when I first start actually claiming something like middle school. But high school was kind of rough because where I was going to high school was at, I had to carry on me every day to school. Every day. It was like, you know, and I was playing basketball at the same time. So it's like practice, nighttime. I used to, like me and my partners, it used to be like 4 of us. They used to just wait on me to practice, you know, sit in the stands, wait on me. It was kind of rough, but it was cool.
So you're 6'6"?
Yeah.
So you were like scouted at a young age for basketball? Did you feel like pressure at a young age of like, oh, this is what I got to do because I'm tall as shit?
Kind of a little bit, but I really had a growth spurt once I got in like 8th, 9th grade. So I didn't play basketball until my 11th and 12th grade year. I wasn't like, I was so in the streets. It was like basketball was like the last thing I was worried about.
It's weird. I feel like being super tall is a huge advantage in basketball, but it's probably a disadvantage in the streets, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's harder to be
Super.
low key when you're just like towering over everybody.
They notice me everywhere I go. It's like distinctive, like crazy.
I feel like that too. I'm just like too tall. It was like, even if I like wear a fucking mask and shit, it's like I'm just standing out a little too much. People spot me anyway.
For sure.
Definitely. Okay, so were you like catching cases in high school and shit, or did that come later?
Nah, so I luckily I skipped the whole like juvenile part. I didn't go to juvenile not one time. I was kind of like smarter than everybody else a little bit. But I caught my first case when I just graduated out of high school. I caught my first pistol case.
So you managed to not get caught with it all those years going to school and shit?
And as soon as I turned 18, I caught my first pistol case.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, how'd they get you?
Me and my partner was leaving out the house, and where I stayed like in the other territory to where I wasn't really supposed to be there.
Okay.
So I had to, bring that with me every day. So something told me when I leave out the house, I told my best friend, I'm like, man, something telling me just leave it right quick and circle around and come back and get it. And he's like, yeah, just leave it. And I thought, I'm like, nah, hell nah, we up. I'm just, drop me off. So as soon as we leave out the projects, the police just happen to be right, like literally right, just like that, right there behind us.
And they just search you with no probable cause or anything?
We driving, I go down the hill, we park. They followed us for a little minute, we park, and I just like put it under my seat and got out the car. And they jumped right out and come here, and searched the car and took us both to jail.
Prior to that, did you ever have any instances where you're walking to school and you actually had to rely on the fact that you had one?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
So
all the
people
time.
would pull up and like be about to do something, then you just pull your shit out, or
You
you
get
get shootouts and then just go to school?
All type of crazy shit.
Holy shit.
All the time, shit was regular. Like, it was like crazy if you didn't have it at a young age. It was like crazy if you didn't have it.
Damn.
Shit was regular.
That's crazy. You ever hear about anybody getting in like shootouts at school and shit?
Not from, it probably been a few shootings at schools, but not really too much. Call with them though at the schoolhouses. Like, I don't know, like when I was in middle school, I know this one dude, he had got caught with it in his locker. I put my jacket in his locker because how they didn't let us bring our jackets into class. So I'm like, man, just put my jacket in your locker. So when I put it in his locker, we go into class. I didn't even know he had it in there. And for some reason, the principal decided to call him and check his locker. And they called both of us to the office, like, man, you knew what was in that locker? I'm like, I really didn't know. I'm like, nah, what was in the locker? He's like, all right, just go back to class. And I went back to class, and then I found out that he ended up getting called a pistol in his locker.
Holy shit.
I was 13.
That's crazy. Okay, so you caught that case, and what happened?
They took us both to jail. They asked who gun is it. We both go in there, don't say nothing. We don't know who gun it is. We don't know where it came from. The car wasn't in it was my car, but it wasn't in my name. So they let us out, and They drop the charge. How they do it is like, if nobody claim it, they drop the charges on everybody and they fingerprint DNA you, and whoever DNA come back on it, they come back and get you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they ended up getting you or your friend?
They ended up coming back to get me.
Okay.
They ended up, but they came, so it's like a 3-year window they got. They came and got me on like the 3rd year.
So you totally thought it was over?
I thought it was over with. They came and got me on a fluke. It just so happened that I didn't have nothing on me when they came and got me. But they pulled right up on me at our store we be at, and they just jumped out and put me in cuffs. I was turning 21 in a few days, and I had a flight to Vegas. They got me right before my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
They caught you at the corner store that I saw you do the video at?
They caught me at that corner store right there. That corner store is dangerous, man.
That was reminding me of like when I lived in New York, and it was just way more of my meals would just be like Cheez-Its and little cookies and shit from the corner store. Now I'm like a grown man eating salads and shit, and I just can't even imagine. Oh no, I miss those days though, just eating at the corner store. Yeah. Okay, but so they come and get you, and then how much time you end up having to do for that, or what happened?
I was in there for like 2 days, and I had to bail out because I had a flight to Vegas. So I ended up getting this lawyer. And we tight to this day. I ended up getting this lawyer. I told him I'm finna bail out. I can't sit here for too long, so I ended up bailing out. And I had court that day. I bailed out, but I had a flight to Vegas, so I told her like, look, I just need you to waive my appearance. I'm finna go to Vegas. So by the grace of God, she was able to waive my appearance, and I ended up making my flight to Vegas for my birthday. Yeah, and I had fought that case for like 2 years with her. It was just a pistol case. They was trying to have me take a misdemeanor in probation, but I was telling my lawyer, like, I don't want to be on probation because that's how they get their time about you when they put you on them papers. They gonna get the time about you. And she was like, you sure? I'm like, just let me do like 9 months in county or something, you know, and I'll just rock out. I ain't ever, you know, I only been in jail 2 days my whole life at that time. So I'm like, I'll just do 9 months or something. I don't want to be on papers. And then we end up fighting it for so long. And they end up coming, at the time I wasn't getting in no trouble either, so they end up coming with a deal like, man, just take a misdemeanor and no probation, go on about your business. So that's how that ended up working out.
Okay, so you're able to kind of avoid anything too serious with that?
Yeah, but at the time, so my partner ended up catching a murder case. My best friend, he ended up catching a murder case at the time. So my lawyer was like, man, you know, it'd be easy if you, I'm like, hell nah, we ain't doing that.
Your lawyer suggested that
basically,
you snitch?
like, not snitch, but basically, like, I could put it, I'm like, we ain't doing that, stop it. And then she was like, nah, you know, I just got to say it.
Oh,
you know?
so the guy you were with when you got pulled over
my best
caught a
friend.
murder case, so you could have just put that on him and it would have been like whatever, because he's going to do...
we ain't playing like that.
How many years did he end up getting?
He's still in there. That's my best friend. We got the same task. He's still in there right now. He just lost trial a few years ago. He's been in there 10 years now.
Holy
yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, like it sounded like when you're like listening to you talk about it and listening to some of the music that like a shitload of the people close to you have caught murder charges over the years, huh?
Every one of I got like maybe 11 close partners. Every single one of us, besides like 2 of us, have fought murder cases.
Wow.
Yeah, every single one. Some of us lost, some of us won. You know, it just, you know, we know what we sign up for when we jump in. So it's like, it just come with the territory.
Do you kind of regret getting into that lifestyle at a certain point, or was it inevitable? Did it have to happen? It was
kind of inevitable. Like, where we from, it's like, when you grow up at, it's where you got to be. It's like rare few make it out to be like, I ain't, you know? It's just kind of like, you got to adapt for real, or you going to be like fish food, like, you gotta like adjust to it. But of course I regret it. Like, you know, I wouldn't want nobody to, you know, live the way I live is crazy. Like, I wouldn't want nobody to go through that type of stuff.
Right. I feel like everybody in the Bay is a trapper.
Something like that, I guess.
True or false? Did you get into that at a certain point? Has that like been part of your life, or?
Nah, I always had a job or something, or just been like, you know, yeah, I just always wiggle through.
What kind of jobs?
I worked at U-Haul before and I did construction. I was a janitor before. I always try to find a way, like even when I was in the streets like heavy, I always try to find a way to keep money in my pocket. I ain't want to depend on no other grown men. Like, you know, so I always found a way to try to keep some money in my pocket, whether it was a little bit or a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you never sold weed. You never were like tried to give that a shot. I feel like everybody in the Bay is a trapper, and it's just like unthinkable that you wouldn't give it a go at a certain point.
Nah, I try to sell dope at one point young, but I used to feel bad when I sell work and like seeing them up like messed up like that. I used to like, damn, I'm contributing to them being messed up. So that only lasted for a few months. It wasn't really my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really my thing.
You gotta be heartless.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing.
You gotta sell your mom dope. You gotta be like so heartless that you could sell it to your family and not give a fuck.
I didn't have it in me.
Yeah, I don't think I got it in me either.
I ain't had it in me.
Maybe like when it all seems fun, you know, when you start doing coke, everything seems like it's all good. It's no big deal.
That's what I'm saying.
Then all of a sudden you're just in deep, looking bad. Like you think about that girls, like you just see them and like you realize like what they're gonna look like if they keep doing this shit for 10 years.
I know some bad like females that was bad back in the day, but like now they strung out and it's like damn.
I know.
Like crazy.
That's so. It's just like the wildest feeling.
Yeah, that shit, it ain't good.
Or even if they just get fat. It's just
fat girls cool sometimes though, man.
Sometimes,
with a big plumber.
But man, that's just like I don't know, because you're kind of like dead to me once you become fat, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just like I got nothing to do with you.
To each his own.
I've
been heard one time that I like big girls, but hey.
That's your thing.
Nah, not ain't my thing. But somebody told me that before, like, man, you like big girls. I'm like, I had to think about it, like. Maybe they cool every now and then or something, I don't know, but not really like a big girl fetish.
It's not even like being a big girl. Being big is cool. It's just when you let yourself go.
Oh, okay.
When you just fully just give up.
I can't rock like that. You gotta have some type of lump back there, some type of rumper back there or something for me to get back there. I ain't just doing it like sloppy.
I feel like almost every dude has a memory of going to a party when they're like 21 and seeing a bunch of chicks from high school and just being like, damn, we only been out of here for like 3 years
for sure.
and you already look terrible.
I had a bunch of those.
Yeah.
A bunch of those.
But we're so lucky because it don't really matter that much what we look like, you know?
Yeah, it just, you know.
You could gain like 80 pounds and you probably still do fine with the chicks, right?
Yeah, my personality is everything, so I'm going to laugh it right out them drawers.
Imagine a girl saying that. My personality is everything. I can look like whatever. Like,
Yeah,
okay, sure.
Yeah, we ain't gonna really.
That better be a hell of a personality.
Right.
All right. So I know you caught some other cases after that. What else went down with all that?
2016, I ended up catching a homicide case myself. Me and my older brother.
Okay.
Yeah, we ended up catching a homicide.
And
case.
what'd they accuse you of?
Going in a club and killing somebody in a club right across from our Hall of Justice, or right across from our main police station in San Francisco. Yeah, but it ain't really go down how they try to put it, like, you know.
Really? So what was it, a self-defense thing?
Yeah, it was a self-defense thing. Me and my big brother was at our studio at the time. This is before I was even rapping. We was at our studio, and one of our young partners was rapping at the time. And we just went to support him. And when we get up in there, everything was cool. But as we leaving out, you know, I'm tall, so I like my brother kind of short. So, you know, we leaving out, and it's packed. So when we walking, a dude like squeezing between my brother, and he bump a dude that's in front of him. So when the dude turn around, he just see my brother standing there, and then the other dude already walked off. He like, man, like, nigga, don't push me. So my brother like, man, I might touch you, like, you know, like, chill out. So it was like some blow back and forth words between them, and I'm telling my brother like, man, stop arguing with him, let's go, like, you know. And in the midst of that, somebody, you know, mysteriously a bunch of dudes came from outside and like kind of like bum rushed the back door as we leaving out. So once the situation get diffused with them, I guess the dudes that was coming in didn't know that the situation was already getting diffused. So was as we walking out, my brother in front of me, and he keep walking, and the girl stopped me like, hey, y'all cool? And I'm like, yeah, nah, that was just a little misunderstanding. It wasn't nothing. And you know, like the club is dark, but like when the door open, it's like the light coming, like, you know? So when the light come in, it made me like look up, and my brother was still walking. So it's like we kind of like a little distance from each other. And dudes bum rushed the back door, and I just see it like a dude like stand in front of my brother, like, you know, like with his hand in his hoodie, like. And then my brother like moved him out the way a little bit, but he stepped back in front of him. So I'm watching like the whole time. The next thing I just see a tussle, like, you know, the dude had a gun in his hoodie or whatever, and him and my brother tussling over the gun. So everybody run out to, you know, run from the space, like, so, you know, in my mind, you know, we came here together, we leaving here together, like, this is, you know, it ain't no other way, you know. I just run over there and help him, and then the shots went off. We get up out of there. So that's how I ended up turning out. So
the shots went off from his gun, or you had your own?
Nah, the shots went off from his.
Okay.
But you know, like when you tussling for a gun, you know what I mean? Like, it just happened, like, you know.
That's crazy, because I feel like that's a situation that I've imagined in my head a million times. Basically, like somebody pulling a gun out of me and like having to grab it and wrestle it away from them and shit. But then you feel like that is not actually how this goes down in reality, because anybody who's seriously standing in front of you with a gun is not going to really let you wrestle with them for it.
Right.
But that's actually what happened in this case.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? Because before we went to the club, me and my brother was talking. He got shot before, and he told me how he got shot. He said he had to tussle with somebody over the gun, and he ended up getting shot like hours before this happened. So when it happened, and we get over there tussling, and it kind of happened, blam. We ended up running up out of there, right? And we side by side at this time. So as we running to get away, he ended up mysteriously going this way. I kept going, but I'm thinking he behind me the whole time. Then I hear some more shots, like boom, 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 boom. So when I turn around, he ain't behind me no more. So in my mind, somebody just killed my brother or something, like, you know? So I'm kind of like, what the? So I ended up having to get up out of there and jumping this like tall fence and getting up out of there. And where I was parked at, it was kind of like I had to walk by the dudes who just, you know, like just ran up in there on us. So when I walked by them, like they was just looking at me. They didn't say too much though. They knew.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't say too much. One of them said some little slick stuff, but you know, with so much commotion going on, I just like brushed him off, like, yeah, whatever. And I kept walking to the car.
Did you actually figure out what those shots were from?
I never figured it out.
Oh, okay.
I never figured it out. I figured somebody like you know, shot my brother when we leaving because he wasn't with me no more. So when I asked somebody, man, what happened? They're like, man, somebody over there laid out. So now I'm thinking they like outside. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm thinking this is my brother. So in my mind, I'm down there kind of like confused a little bit, like, huh? Like, you know, I was kind of like throwed off. Like I was kind of like in the daze. And Then when I ended up walking to the car, I just walked past the car. I didn't even go get in the car. I was still like standing in the area, like, you know, but I'm like pacing. I'm just like, and then I just see somebody get out the car, like looking. He like, hey. And then I'm like, man, get the car. Throw him the key, get the car. And then he came back and got me, and we jumped in the car, drove off.
And how long till the cops came?
The cops was already there. The cops was there like 30 seconds because it's right across from the main.
No, I mean, how long till they came and got you after that?
Oh, 10 days later.
Okay.
10 days later, yeah.
And you knew it was gonna happen? Like, did you?
Yeah, hell
you
yeah,
assumed?
we knew. Me and him was talking every day. Some police kept following us, like, you know, like the police was. He was working too, and the police kept saying, "Call me, like, bless him, like white dude following me." I'm like, yeah, turn your phone off. He turned his phone off, but the dude kept popping. So we had be somewhere. He keep popping up on us. So we had a conversation. I'm like, man, clean up, like, you know, like just clean up, bro. Let's get ready. You know what I mean? Like we finna go sit down for a minute. But he older than me. Like, you know, he about 45 right now. You know, I'm 32. So he already did 9 years in the feds at this time. Like he already caught a big case in my neighborhood, like one of the biggest cases in California. The feds like hit, like, you know, like, so he already did time, do time. I don't, you know, I ain't never did time before. So we, you know, clean up. And the night they ended up coming to get me, I got pulled over like right before. It was like 11 o'clock at night. They pulled me over, but they were just like running the plates and like doing weird stuff. So they came to the car like, man, you ain't got nothing in here, Mr. Gardner? I'm like, man, I ain't got nothing. Like, what y'all, like, you know? They like, all right, they looking, and they let me go. And I get to the house, I'm about to go to a hotel because I kind of figured like, man, they about to come. And I'm about to go to a hotel, but my baby mama called me. And like I said, my baby mama live like where it's not really cool for me to go. And she called me, she like, hey, like your daughter's sick, like she wants you. So I'm like, all right. So when I'm leaving out the house, I got it on me and something tell me like, man, just leave it. Like something in my mind is telling me like, don't take it. So I followed my first mind this time and I tucked it and I went to her house and then we chopping and chilling with my daughter for a minute. And I was actually working construction at the time too. So we go to sleep. I try to get some for my BM. She ended up not even giving me none that night. And then at 4 in the morning, they hit, boom, hit the door. Came in and got me. Yeah, it was over.
And before we even get into what happened with the case and shit, did you sort of like immediately figure out like who the dude that you got into the situation with was? Because you got to also be thinking like, oh, his people are going to want some sort of revenge, right?
So at the time when it first happened, I didn't know. Like for the first few hours, I didn't even know who he was. I called like this dude, he like my dad. He like a neighborhood community worker. I called him like, hey, come meet me, you know, like I need you to come holler at me. So when I called him, he came and seen me, we talking, and he told me who it was. I'm like, damn, that's who that was? I'm like, damam. Like, you know, like, hey, like. It
was somebody like you knew or had heard of or something?
Yeah, it was somebody like, you know, wasn't really no problem. But, you know, situations happen.
Did it cause a bunch of shit though?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. It was turned up after that. Like, I was like number one hated. Like,
really?
Yeah, number one hated.
Damn.
Like,
it's just such a trap because it's like now you have way more reason to move around a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you have like way more scrutiny on you. But did you get locked up or were you able to bail out?
Nah, it was no bail. My bail was $5 million.
Oh, Jesus.
So, you know, they wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
It wasn't going nowhere. But it kind of like going through that, it kind of like moving a certain way, it kind of help you in a sense because sometimes when you're in the streets, you get to moving lackadaisical and you're not, you know what I'm saying, paying attention to like, there's somebody out there who will do you just because. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, it just made me kind of like more focus up and be just like super, super alert.
So how long were you locked up fighting that?
So I went to jail. So my best friend who I told you who fighting the murder case now, his lawyer, me and her was cool. And she got wind that I was locked up for a murder. She hit the lawyer that I had on that pistol case for 2 years. She ended up messaging her like, hey, you know, whoop, just got locked up for. So she came and seen me. Before I even had a lawyer, before I went to court, they like, you got a legal. So usually that mean the police coming to holler at you. So I'm like, man, I ain't got no lawyer. I ain't going to talk to nobody, you know? So they like, nah, you got it's a lawyer in there. So I go peek in the door and it's her. So I'm like, hey, what's up? She like, man, listen, chill out. Don't talk to nobody. Don't say nothing. Don't open your mouth. I got you. Don't even trip. I'm like, all right, it's cool. So she like, I'm finna get you the best lawyer we got. So she ended up going to get her boss, who won't even really take cases like that, but he over everybody. And she begged and pleaded, like, man, I need you to take this case from me, like this, like, you know. And he was like, nah, I don't really want to do it. And she like, I'm gonna do all the work. I just need you to be there. And he like, all right, if we're gonna do it like that, then do it. I'm gonna go see him. And so when I first went to court, she came like, I got him for you, like, you know, like it's cool. So she went and sat down with me. She's like, man, did you talk in that interrogation room? I'm like, man, come on, man. She's like, why this video say 30 minutes? I'm like, shit, I just let them talk. You know, I didn't say nothing. So then she was like, nah, all right. So when she listened to it, she was laughing like, man, just next time, don't even straight say lawyer. Like, you know, like she like, because even if you go in there and not, even though you didn't say nothing, like, you know, you just listening, it's just like, you look like you bullshitting in there, like by you just listening. I'm like, ah, this cool.
So she was kind of concerned about how you'd be perceived on the streets as well, or she was
Nah, to the jury. Like we going to trial behind this. Like, you know, like, we about to go to trial behind this. So
if you're fucking around giving them goofy answers,
giving them goofy answers to the jury,
right,
it's gonna, you know. But I wasn't really talking. I was letting them talk. They was like trying to play the good cop, bad cop thing. And I'm like, man, I'm sleepy. I'm tired. Y'all came and got me at 4 in the morning. They came and got me at 4 in the morning. Left me in a room small as this with a wooden chair handcuffed to it, and they didn't come talk to me till 12 p.m.
Oh, Jesus.
So I see why, like, dudes get in that thing and start telling. It's kind of like they set you up. They trying to put pressure on you, but I knew I wasn't going out like that.
So how long did you have to fight it? Like, how long did it take?
So when my lawyer came in, they said, man, look, I'm going to get you out of here in 4 months. I told him, like, man, we going to speedy trial this. You know, I got a daughter out there. I'm not taking no deals. They're going to have to give me whatever time they give me. They're going to have to give it to me. I ain't taking nothing. So he was on board with that. Like, all right, yeah, that's what we gonna do.
So the speedy trial, basically, like, it's a lot faster, but it's more high risk, but you're like putting more pressure on the state that they have to be able to prove.
Yeah, because like realistically, in the state mind, they'll put the murder charges on you and they'll let you sit for 5-6 years. I had like I said at the time, my best friend was in there for 4 years already fighting his murder case. And he was just sitting, he ain't go to trial or nothing yet, you know, at the time. So I told myself, I'm not finna be sitting here for no 3-4 years till y'all figure out. Y'all have to give me that time or let me go on my business. So they ended up, my lawyer was on board with what I was on board with. And we applied that pressure. And the DA was like, man, why don't y'all just waive time? We're like, nah, we're not doing that. You know, y'all gonna have to let me out or something, like let me out on ankle or something. Like, you know, then we waive time. We got on ankle or something, but other than that, I'm not finding sitting here all this time.
So when it actually came time for trial, like what were the important things that you had to prove in order to actually beat it?
So we didn't even make it to trial. We beat it before trial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we beat it before trial. We went to prelim first. So it's like when you speedy trial, you got to go to prelim in 10 days. But we waived the 10-day and did like I think it's like 90-day prelim. So I had to sit there 3 months. And on the third month we went to prelim, they dropped it, but they refiled on us. So it's like we beat it, but they kept us in jail. We refiled, they recharged us. So now it's like we had to wait another little period of time before we go back to prelim. So when we go back to prelim, we in prelim for like 3-4 days. Preliminary hearing is like when they present the evidence to the judge for the judge to bound you over to go to trial, to be like, yeah, y'all got enough evidence to take these men to trial. So when we get to prelim, my lawyer, he's a beast. Me and him is tight to this day. He was just going so hard, you know. The DA just actually is like, man, you know what? We actually went left and we came back to court the next day. When we came in court, the DA wasn't in there, so we sat down. And I'm like, man, where the DA at? He like, I don't know. So the DA came in court, was like, hey, judge and the lawyers, and we talked to him on the chambers. So they sent us back in the bullpen, and we just sit in the bullpen. We came out, tried to sit back in my seat, you know? And my lawyer like, stand up. I'm like, for what? He like, they about to let you up out of here. I'm like, oh.
That's got to feel so good.
Oh my gosh, that wind, like when you walk out the jailhouse, that wind is like, no, that breath of fresh air is like, whoo.
Especially doing the speedy trial, so you didn't have to sit as long, and you know that you did the somewhat riskier method risky. And that it actually worked.
Yeah, but they was more trying to put the gang on us. Like they was more like they was trying to bang us with the gang, because the murder was kind of like, all right, we can't really do too much with them on the murder because the situation how it happened. Like, you know, you can't just say that we just blatantly just murder somebody. Like,
especially if it's his gun.
You feel what I'm saying? That ain't how it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but they, you know, the gang in San Francisco is like serious. That's a serious charge. That carry life too. So they like, man, we just gonna try to get them as the gang and use the murder as a motive. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So.
That's crazy. Holy shit. So then how do you kind of like return to normal life after that?
it wasn't normal. At this time, it's fired up now. I'm getting out. Like, as soon as I get out, like, probably like a month or a few weeks later, I get in a little situation, But it was cool, like, you know, like, it was kind of like normal, but it's like, I know I'm a trophy at this point. I wasn't no trophy before like that. It was just kind of like regular. But now at this point, it's like, oh, you top dog. This before I'm rapping or anything, though.
So your whole neighborhood, you're like a huge name all of a sudden. Everybody talking about you.
I'm a big dog at this time.
And then the ops are looking like
it's like
you're a big problem for them.
Yeah, it's like you know, we can't, you know, it just became like a.
So even like just going to that club, like you were just describing, does that all of a sudden become like a way bigger decision at that point? Or something you can't even really do like that?
It just, it just can't do this, can't play around like that.
What's this other situation that you got into?
That when I got shot.
So you got shot after that? Okay.
I got shot like a year ago.
Oh, okay.
I just recently got shot.
But you said you had like a situation after you got out.
Oh, a situation. After that, when I first got out, driving to the studio, we had a studio, and end up getting into a situation, somebody get on side of me. But, you know, I don't really play card games like that, so I'm driving on my side of the street. They get on the wrong side of the street, and I see it. I'm like, ooh. So I get over, like, you know, y'all ain't getting on side of me. They try to get on the other side. I just see somebody out the window start going crazy on the car. I'm like, ooh. Bust a lot, get up out of there. You know, you don't panic. You know what I'm saying? You can't panic. So I ended up busting right. They went the other way. They hit the car a few times, whatever. I went to the house.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just went to the house.
And so it was like it never even happened? Like the cops don't get contacted or anything?
You don't call the police. It's regular.
I mean, I know you can't, but like that's fucking insane.
But it's crazy because a few months after, the police ended up stopping me one day like, hey, we need you to come look at something. I'm like, look at something for what? They like, man, we heard you had a situation. I'm like, I ain't had no situation. Like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I don't play. They're like, they never said nothing after that.
Really?
Yeah, they never said nothing.
So they might have like had footage of it or something?
I feel like they did because somebody else had said something. Like the police, where we from, the police just be talking. Like they'd just be talking. They had said something. But I ain't want to have no conversation with them. I wasn't tripping like that.
But the car got hit a bunch of times, but you didn't get hit?
Yeah, the car got hit like 4 times. Oh. The rearview mirror got knocked off and everything. Knocked the rearview mirror off. That was like the only bullet that came in the car for real. Knocked the rearview mirror off and they hit like the side of the car.
Holy shit.
Like the side of the car.
And that was the only time that you got attacked like that?
Nah, another situation happened like that too. Somebody tried to get on side of me again. It's just, you know.
Wow.
But, you know, it's kind of like normal, like, in a sense, even though it's messed up that it's normal, but it's just like, you know, like, and you know, it go both ways. So it's just, you know,
right.
It go both ways.
You feel like that's just like the life you chose at a certain point?
Yeah, but it's like, and I kind of even feel like I didn't even choose it. It's kind of just like, just happened for real. Like, everything just happened. Like, even with me being a rapper, like, it just kind of happened. I'm
going to do the Vlad thing and say, have you thought about leaving? Vlad's always telling people to leave their hometown.
I don't stay. Okay. I don't stay out there no more. I've been, you know, wiggling up out of there.
But this was a while ago.
Yeah, this was
at that time. You probably didn't have the option, right?
Yeah, at that time I didn't have an option. You know, I was home. You know, it was 2016. You know, but I know, like, I'm smart enough to know, like, ain't nobody exempt. Like, I know, like, ain't nobody gonna spare me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I try to, like, just be as cautious and careful as I possibly can. Ain't nobody sparing nobody out here. Ain't nobody exempt. Nobody being in the program. So
it's really weird for me as somebody who's kind of like in the middle of so much of this shit, and I'll have situations where I have somebody that I'm cool with, and I know that they basically, you know, either did something themselves or ordered something to be done to somebody else that I'm cool with, and at a certain point, I got to just kind of separate myself from it and be like, look, like, this is their fucking lifestyle. Like, I can't look at one guy as the bad guy and one guy as the good guy. The truth is that this is just,
man, we know what goes on.
This is where they're at, and I haven't had to be put in the position of like having that sort of like lifelong like vow to fucking get revenge on somebody. But I can totally understand how they get in that position given some of the shit that's happened to them.
Right. Not for sure. It just, man, stuff happens out here, man. You gotta know. You gotta be smart enough to know, like, you know, what you're doing a little bit.
Definitely. So all of a sudden you have like you're much more well known. Is that kind of what motivated you to start rapping and shit?
Just being at the studio. We had our own studio at the time. So we just being in the studio, and it just kind of like me just getting out of jail. Like the song just kind of just came about on its own, like just organically. And
you had a lot to talk about all of a sudden?
Yeah, just a lot to talk about. We did the song in probably like November, shot the video in December, and my brother ended up getting shot on Christmas Eve. So I didn't even want to rap no more. Like, I just was like, man, it's too serious. I had to be trying to rap. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm already tall, my face everywhere. So it's like, I really wasn't motivated enough to rap. But the people around me was like, man, just do it. Like, we didn't even know what we had when we put out the song. It just kind of just like.
You're talking about Do Better?
Yeah.
So was that like the first song?
That was the first song I ever did.
The first one. Holy
first
shit.
song I ever did.
And it just took off right away? Or?
It took off right away.
Like on more of a street level, or start blowing up on YouTube and shit right away?
Every day when we was checking it would be like 2,000 the first day, 2,000 the next day, 3,000 the next day. So it was like, when we got to 10,000, we kind of like, ooh, like, you know, it's on to something. As time went on, it just kept growing. And took like 2 months, it was at 1 million. And we was like so throwed off and so like, we didn't understand. We just was doing it. Like, the people I'm with, the people I'm around, it just kind of just like, we was just winging it for real.
Because had you ever really seen anybody have success with music from your area before?
Yeah. One of them, so you know, I'm from the projects with RBL Posse.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, we was from the same projects, but I didn't grow
kind of
up
back in the day, huh?
Yeah, I didn't grow up under them. I grew up under like the people that they kind of had problems with.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they from my neighborhood. Larry June from my neighborhood.
Shout out Larry June, legend.
And then with my young partner, he had a hot song at the time. It was called Body Bags. His name was Llama Llama. His song was going up.
You got to look at Larry June and be like, damn, I wish I could just be like a cool, laid-back rapper and not have to be on all this bullshit.
Yeah, he cool. Larry June cool, man. Larry June cool. So,
yeah, he's just chilling, man.
Chilling, man.
That's wild. I interviewed him 2016 or some shit. And like, it's been wild to see his career just go nuts from there. He's like this urban legend. Like people just don't really... He's actually like somebody who's done a good job of remaining very mysterious.
Yeah, and he cool dude too, just laid back. He's just himself. How he rapping his music, how he is in real life. Like, he's just laid back. Cool.
Yeah, he barely did interviews. I think he did one interview last year, but I feel like he didn't do any interviews between the one I did and that one, which is pretty wild. Because as a rapper, everybody wanted to interview all the time.
For sure,
you know?
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, that song starts blowing the fuck up, and then are you getting hit up by all the labels and stuff? Like, how do you go about getting your business together in terms of making shit happen with the song and shit?
We didn't know nothing. We didn't know nothing. We just was going with the flow, and we ended up signing Empire, though. You know, my bro and Gazi are tight, so we ended up going over there with Gazi at Empire.
Definitely.
Yeah, just rocking out.
And that's been good so far?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my people. My people over there.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they must be doing something right because everybody pretty much has positive things to say about Empire, which is not the case for most labels.
Yeah, nah, Empire is awesome, bro.
Definitely.
Sure.
So at what point do you start having the conversation about Mozzy and Philthy Rich and shit getting on the song?
So Philthy and my big bro, who I caught the case with, he actually locked up and got double life right now, but free him. Philthy and him was tight. So, you know, we used to be around Philthy a little bit. And Mozzy was my favorite rapper at the time. So I had a show with Neff DeFero one day. Just he let me perform with him. And Mozzy was there. Mozzy was there because he was going on after Neff. And he was standing on the side of the stage, you know. So I was like, it was my turn. I just wanted to see how he was going to react to it. So when it came on, he went crazy. Like, he already knew it. So as soon as I get off stage, you know, we greet each other, you know, we holler, and I'm like, bro, I do the remix, I'm gonna need you on it. He like, oh, for sure, just send it through. So I sent it to Philthy, got it, he got it, and then OMB Peezy, I sent it to him because me and his manager's tight, and me and Peezy tight too.
Definitely. And did that just like add a whole new level of virality to it?
Yeah, but just crazy. People don't even know, like, Nipsey Hussle was supposed to be on that record.
Really?
Yeah, I sent him the email and everything.
How'd you know Nipsey?
It's a crazy story. I met Nipsey in 2017. I was on a little tour with Mozzy. Mozzy had a tour. I was following him around when we stopped out here in LA. And we ended up going to the store, to the Marathon store. And when I walked in there, I didn't know they knew who I was. This was like May 2017. The song been out 5 months. And Black Sam said, oh, Nip and them just left. I'm like, huh? Like, oh, okay. And then when we leave out the store,
you're not expecting to be recognized 8 hours away from home. Yeah.
Not even a little bit. I'm fresh out the projects. I got $300 in my pocket and a rental car, and we just winging it.
Right.
Me, my brother, and my partner. I walk out the store, one of their partners like, hey, bro, we got the food spot right here. We got the cannabis down there. Woo, woo. I don't smoke. So my brother, he get these like weed attitudes. And he like, man, we gotta get some weed. We gotta get some weed. I'm like, man, well, I don't feel like doing all that. He like, man, let's go to the cannabis. They go get some free weed. They know you. We go to the cannabis. And when I walk in there, the lady behind the desk, she looking at me, but I'm kind of like paranoid a little bit. You know, I'm like, and she get on the phone. She's like, man, y'all never guess who we got in here. She like, hey, you, come here. So I walk over there and she turned the phone, nipples on the other end of the phone. And he just like threw it up on me. And then we chopped it and he got my number. And then I ain't hear from him. That was May. I didn't hear from him for like 4 months after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he got killed before, like, right after the song came out?
This 2017. So
okay.
I ended up having my son August 12th. So I'm at the hospital with my baby mama and my son. We chilling. And I just get a mysterious call like, hey, we in San Francisco tonight. We at this club. I need you to pull up. It's Nip. I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, you know, I tell my baby mama, like, man, I'm gone. I'll be back. She was mad, but I'm like, man, I'll be back, man. But the club he was going to was the club that the ops be at. So it was like, it was a risk going there, but I just got a few of my partners and my brother, like, man, we up. Like, we finna go. So we get there, Nip was there. We get in there, perform. He like, man, run it back one more time. I need you to do it again. We do it again. We, you know, chopping it. We leave out. They like, man, you need us to walk y'all to the car? We like, shit, y'all need us to walk y'all to the car? They like, oh, you for real? Like, yeah. So we end up going to this little pizza spot, chopping it. You know, we was cool.
Right. Definitely. Bro. But then, so you talked about the verse, but then it never actually happened?
So I ended up chopping it with him. He like, man, send me the instrumental. I'm going to get on it. I'm like, all right. So I emailed it to him, to his email. And I had a deadline to like turn it in by like December. And he was working on his album at the time, and he didn't make the deadline, so it was cool. Like, you know, but he had texted me, like he had called me. He like, man, my fault, bro. Like, ooh, we gonna get in the studio though. Don't even trip. Like, you know, we gonna get in the studio. We gonna do something. Like, you know, I know I missed the deadline, but it's all good. But we was cool though. That was bro.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a legend right here. Yeah. So, how'd you feel when you found out about what happened to him?
I was crushed. I was in Atlanta at the time. I was crushed, bro. I called one of his close partners. I'm like, bro. Because this crowd was just talking to the female I was with. I was just talking to her about it. She was asking me about it, and I promise you, like, and I'm like, yeah, you know, like, he one of the realest dudes I met in the rap game, like, by far. And I get a call like an hour later, like, man, they just killed your boy. I'm like, nah, not him. Like, no way. And seeing that, I was like, wow.
Yeah, in such a sort of like regular way, in like a situation that you can imagine happening to anybody, where somebody is just
crazy.
a little bit of a loose screw, just sort of shows up and just does whatever.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, okay, what is like ever since that song, like especially that video in particular, because that song has like 60 million views on WorldStar or some shit, right? So
this is how I did it. I dropped it on WorldStar and I dropped it on my channel. So it's 50 million on WorldStar and 45 million on my channel.
Oh, wow. That's
so that's
crazy.
95 if you put it together, for real.
That's insane.
Yeah, so.
That's wild.
Yeah, but you know, once I put the song, everything, once I blew up, it was kind of like the hate came like more, like I became more of a target in my neighborhood. So it was kind of like I was getting love and hate, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like a good and a bad situation. But me knowing that the world is bigger than my neighborhood, I took it and ran with it. I took the hate that came with my neighborhood and I embraced it. But I know anywhere else I go, they're going to show me love to this day. Like, you know, they're going to recognize me to this day and show me nothing but love.
Because you kind of like, at that moment, you have like a big decision to make, because if you just rap about street shit and rap for like a more local audience, they might love you. But on the other hand, you're not going to be able to really like break out of your little world with that kind of content, right?
Exactly.
And if anything, that song felt like, it's kind of crazy that was your first song, because it felt like a song that was like meant for a big audience.
Right. So it just, everything that was happening so fast. But I was taking, you know, I'm a likable dude, so everybody loving me. You know what I mean? But, you know, where you come from, they're going to hate you the most. So I
mean, Mozzy's a great example of that too, though.
Right.
Because he's came from, you know, not like drill rap, but like basically that type of shit, rapping about all the street shit, and then he's like managed to make his shit way bigger and appeal to a big audience. For
sure, that's bro, man. Shout out Mozzy.
How'd you initially tap in with him, become connected to him?
Like I say at the show, and then ever since then, he always like invited me out to us. Like, bro, if he performing, he always be like, I need you. Like, come on. Like, not really I need you, but, you know, he one of them dudes be like, come on, bro. Like, I want you here with me. Come on. So every time he had something going on, I was always, like, invited. He always embraced me the right way. So it was like, anytime he had a show, anywhere he go, I can always pull up and perform, and they gonna go crazy every time. And he was doing some real stuff that some people, like, you know, like, that you don't really expect people to do. Like, you know, I ain't had no money at the time like that, but he getting paid for them shows. I go perform, the crowd gonna go crazy. He'd just give me $300-400 just for coming. Like I appreciate you. Like he didn't do it every time, but the times he did was appreciated. Like I ain't even expect it. He was just doing it like for real.
So do you feel like you took your career as serious as you should have or you could have in that moment, or do you feel like you kind of kept just being you and doing your thing? I kept
just being me. I just kept, but it was like I was dealing with so much real life that was going on. Like at that time, I just lost 2 partners in 2018, like 2 of my close partners. I was under investigation for 2 more homicides. I just was going through so much that people don't understand. It was hard for me to just focus on just rap. Like I had to I was really living it. I ain't had nowhere to go at the time. I'm still in the trenches, so I gotta, move a certain way. I can't go to studios, and the studio that we had ended up getting shot up, so we had to move up out of there. So we didn't have our own studio at the time, and like rapping costs too. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just about rapping. You gotta spend money. So it was easier when we had our own studio at the time. We ain't really had too much. So
damn. So what happened with those 2 homicides they're investigating you for?
I didn't even know at the time I was getting investigated, but I'm in Atlanta, and my nephew called me. My nephew passed away. He called me like, man, there's 2 dudes at the house in suits, like at the door. He in the house looking out the peephole. I'm like, what they saying? He like, I don't know. They didn't say nothing. They knocking, I ain't open the door. So when they left a car, and the car said, Prezi called me. Right? So I'm like, dang. So I called my lawyer like, hey man, that's 2 dudes in homicides came to the house. Like, homicide in suits. She like, yeah, what they want? I said, I don't know, they left a car. So I called her, hey, what's up? Y'all came to my house looking for me? Like, man, we want to talk to you about a homicide that happened and such. I'm like, dude, I don't even go out there where y'all say, like, I don't know about no homicides. Like, they're like, all right, well, when you get back, come holler at us. So I called my lawyer, like, man, call him. He talking about a homicide, call him. So my lawyer called him, like, man, don't contact him, contact us, whatever. And my brother ended up getting arrested. The one I called my case with, he ended up getting arrested for that. Some shit that, we ain't had nothing to do with, man. Like, they just put that. But he ended up getting convicted for it. And he's getting back on appeal right now, though. So
wow,
they gave him double life for it. And,
that's crazy. Holy shit.
Man.
Damn.
So it's like when you under investigation, if the police got your phone tapped and they don't tap your phone no more, they gotta notify you that they had your phone tapped. So I was getting like papers like, oh yeah, we had you on investigation for this homicide.
Oh wow.
And they sent me another paper, we had you on investigation for this homicide. But they don't tell you exactly what, but they just tell you like, homicide occurred around this time, homicide occurred.
How's that feel finding out your phone was tapped?
I talk on the phone like my phone tapped anyway. I don't really have conversations. You can't call me and just have no reckless conversation with me. I don't really talk on the phone like that. So you ain't about to catch me like saying nothing crazy. But
right. So if that song came out in 2018, then it's kind of like you're dealing with all this bullshit for a couple of years after that, and then the pandemic hits, and then the
pandemic hit, and it was. Yeah. But it was cool though, cause the pandemic time came around. I wasn't even like around no more. I started getting a few dollars, and I ain't get no pandemic money though. I'm mad. That's one thing I'm mad about. I ain't get no pandemic money.
We took a loan, they made us give it back.
I didn't get no pandemic money, man. I was mad about that, but I was doing cool. I wasn't even in the Bay no more. I was living out there in Atlanta, and it was cool. I was.
What do you like better about Atlanta?
It's just I can just be myself out there. I ain't had to worry about too much out there. I can just be myself. I ain't had to look on my shoulders much. You know what I mean? Just being somewhere different. The love is still be like they love you. Like not being from there and being from the Bay, and they love me out there, so it'd be cool.
You got your own local flavor that they're not used to.
Yeah.
But then meanwhile, you're not mixed up in their politics, so you kind of got a fresh start in that regard, right?
Yeah, so it was cool. It was cool for me.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So what made you want to do this interview now? Like, where do you feel like you're at in your life that like you wanted to sort of have, because you haven't done like a lot of interviews. Or you've done a couple,
just,
but
I've been watching you for a while now. I just always, I be tapped in with what's going on, like for a minute though, like for a while, and just like, it's a dope, dope platform. So I'm like, get on there and come speak.
No, I appreciate it. But like, where do you feel like you're at in terms of your music at this point? Like, are you motivated?
Now I'm getting back motivated now. Like, my mind is a little more clear now. Like, just like life experiences, life changes. Like I told you, like I just got shot last year, like a year and 3 months ago. I just got shot.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Going to meet my bro at the studio right there. He called me out eating. with my baby mama and my son and her daughter out eating, and then my bro called me like, hey, such and such at the studio, he wants you to come knock this verse out. And I'm like, all right, as soon as I leave here, I'm gonna pull up. So I told my baby mama, like, I'm gonna take my son and go to the studio, and I'm gonna meet you back at the house. But it's her birthday, so she like, nah, you about to go cat off with a broad. I'm like, no, I ain't. Like, you know. So she like, nah, we all coming. So I'm like, all right, come on. So we end up dipping to the studio. But on my way to the studio, something telling me like, man, something is about to happen. But I something in my heart, I felt it. But I'm like, it's cool. Like, I'm right, Anywhere I go, I circle the block. Like, no matter where I'm at, it's just like a habit of mine. I circle the block to see who cars, just trying to pay attention. I circle the block. I see a car, I don't really pay attention. Like, I don't really look too. I end up parking. Now I'm calling my bro. I'm like, he ain't answering the phone because he told me he was outside smoking. His phone was down. So my baby mom, my son, her daughter's in the car. I'm like, man, I'm about to go around to the other door. Y'all stay right here. Like, So, boom. When I walk around to the other door, I'm ringing the doorbell for like 45 seconds, but something telling me like, keep your back to the door and watch the street. It just felt weird. And in the midst of me ringing the doorbell, I turned to the door and something said, bro, turn around. So when I turn back around, I just see like a dope popping. I just see two dudes jump out. Like I see a rifle on a hand thing and I see two dudes. I'm like, ooh. And then mysteriously, by the grace of God, it was a car. It was one car on the street because I can either only go right or left. I couldn't go this way. I can either go this way. And I'm in the middle of the block. So it's like, I'm down there, caught with my pants down. And it was just a car like kind of right in front of me. And I just happened to just get behind the car and they start shooting up the car. I'm seeing piece of the car flying off, piece of concrete off the wall. And for a split second, I'm like, damn, like somebody just set me up at this studio. Like but in my mind, I'm like, I ain't going out like this, like, So boom, two more dudes started, it was like four of them. They all shooting at one time. So in my mind, I didn't panic though. I'm sitting there, I didn't panic. Sitting there, and I'm kind of like, just like laughing a little bit, like, damn, he isn't, like, But I told myself, like, after the rifle go off, you're gonna get up and run and get up out of here. As soon as the rifle go off, they stop shooting for like 5 seconds. I get up, take off. They start shooting again. I'm like, dang, niggas ain't ran out of bullets yet.
What the fuck?
I finally turn around the corner. When I get around the corner, my baby mom in the driver's seat now, and she looking at me. And I'm just walking to the car now, And then when I get there, I'm like, she like, come on, get in the car. I'm like, nah, let them drive off first. So once I seen them drive off, she like, what you just do? I don't know, for some reason, she like, she know how I be moving, so she thinking I just did something. Like, what you just do? I'm like, I ain't just like them. Like, I ain't do nothing. Like, some niggas just try to kill me. And she like, they try to set you up in the studio? I'm like, I don't know.
Because the only person who could have set you up was like your friend.
Was my dog who's sitting right here, but I knew in my mind that he ain't, not even close. I'm like, not even close.
But they could have been following you from somewhere else.
I would have seen it, know? I would have seen it. So I get in the car. I knew I was shot in my foot. And my son's just looking at me like, so I'm trying to keep him calm. I'm trying to let him know. But he's so smart. He was 5 at the time. He paid attention to everything. He kind of like just on it. But I ain't panicking nothing. I just told her, man, drop me off at the hospital. I got to the hospital and my phone ringing. My young partners from the projects called me. They're like, man, you good? I'm like, man, what you mean am I good? What you know? They're like, man, they just called us like laughing, like go pick you up. They just killed you.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, that's what they said. I ain't even told my own shot at this time. So I'm walking in the hospital at the same time on the phone. So I'm like, yeah. Like, all right. So I hang up the phone. Then everybody get the call. And I call him. I'm like, bro, he finally answered. Bro, why y'all didn't open the door? He like, man, had a shots just went off, brothers. Ooh, police said somebody was shooting back and it was a shootout and da-da-da-da and da-da-da. I'm like, bro, I just got shot. He like, huh? You just got, I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm like, I'm good though. Like, I'm good. Hang up. Now everybody calling me. I don't even call my mama at the time. I didn't want her to know. So I was trying to hide it from my mama, like, And they passed me up. I'm trying to get up. I'm telling the doctor, like, man, everyone just foot shot, man. Let's go. Let me go home, like, They end up passing me up. I end up getting a call from my young partners, like, man, they want to holler at you. So I end up hollering at the niggas and all the shit. It was cool.
Hollered at the dudes who shot you?
Yeah.
What was that conversation like?
It wasn't nothing. It was just more respect. You know, they put a little respect on my name. That was it. They was kind of respecting it. Like, man, it wasn't for you, but you know, we saw you. We had to get our chance. We don't really get that too often.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard of that. Just have a conversation about it after? What the fuck?
Hey, man, you know what happened. It's cool, though. Told him it's all love, you know?
Damn, the Bay is grimy. You guys
the Bay
are wild.
crazy, and the Bay wild. The Bay get wild, man. People come to the Bay and just be thinking it be, nah, it's wild out there. Everybody like that. Like, you know, just because they from the other side or whatever, I ain't gonna sit there in front like everybody don't get wild. Everybody get wild out there, so. It just happens, man.
That's crazy. Because sometimes, yeah, I mean, in general, like Northern California, in LA, I feel like we kind of look at it like shit is crazier up there. Sometimes, at least.
Yeah, it get wild everywhere.
There's
man.
a little bit more structure, it feels like, out here. It's
it ain't no structure in the Bay.
Like that's one thing I realize is that's a big thing that keeps shit from happening in a way that doesn't happen with Chicago and shit, is that a lot of times, like, two older dudes will get on the phone and, like, basically make younger dudes be cool with each other that want to kill each other.
Yeah, they can't do that in the Bay.
They can't do that about everything, but they can do it about some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't have that, then it's really just a free-for-all.
Yeah, they can't really do that in the Bay. It's like every man for themselves, for real.
It's crazy. It feels like, I don't know, like the Bay Area has, like, especially San Francisco, has gotten like way crazier since the pandemic.
They bip your car, man. Don't leave nothing in your car, man. They were getting right up in there faster than you can blink.
Yeah, it's like
they in that thing.
The
bipping,
the fentanyl, the fucking, I don't know, just like all this shit coming together to just make it like, and the decriminalization shit, so people are like less scared to be getting fucked up in public and shit.
Right.
I don't know. Does it just feel like it's just absolutely out of control?
The fentanyl is crazy. My nephew tatted on my hand. He ended up dying of a fentanyl perk. So like that's, man, I don't know where that came from or how it came. I don't know what's even making people even think that to even sell that type of stuff is cool, but that really ain't it. I don't know what's wrong with people.
They're just bad chemists for the most part. I think they're just fucking up the batch.
But it's like, who even got the idea to start selling that? Like, it's crazy.
Shit, the pharmaceutical company's been making it for like people in the hospital and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I remember like mid 2020, like as soon as they kind of like let people move around a little bit more, we did a BMX trip. It was San Francisco, and I had a cop say to me that, like, we were riding bikes at like a federal building, and he was just like, "Yo, you can't ride here, but you can ride anywhere else because this whole city is fucking anarchy now." Like, and just like the way that the cop said it to me, I was just like, damn, like I never heard a cop talk about like that. Like he just sounded like he had just given up. Like it was just, he had accepted that this whole shit was just so fucked up that, you know.
It seems like there ain't nothing they can do.
Yeah.
They try to go down there and clean up the TLs, and that ain't nothing they can do, man. It seems like it's gonna be like that forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what's life like for you these days?
I mean, it's cool, man. You know, I'm just taking care of my kids, man. That's the number one important thing in my life, man. My kids. And just trying to stay out the way for real. Like, you know, just trying to be better, man. I don't like hanging out, and I feel like I outgrew that. Like, you know, I know some people they ain't gonna never like forget, so I gotta like, you know, move a certain way for sure. But I try to just stay away as much as possible and just like do more positive thing. I just do an Easter egg hunting projects for the kids, and you know, just trying to like clean up an image a little bit. You know what I mean? Like just trying to clean it up a little bit, man, because these people out here, the police is against you. You got everybody. You know what I mean? So you gotta like start bettering yourself and your surroundings.
You feel like you're just getting it from all sides because you got the cops after you, and apparently people very, very much want to kill you. Yeah,
but as long as I continue to, you know, move correct and understand that I'm not exempt from nothing. I don't care how good I do in the community or how, like, you know, much love I show, or I'm not exempt from something happening. So as long as I keep that mindset, I feel I'm gonna be straight. Like, I gotta continue to move the way I move. I don't care how cool I get with anybody. I gotta continue to move the way I move.
Definitely. Are you like tapped in with like all the music coming out and shit like that, or in the underground and everything? Do you pay attention to what's going on with all the music?
A little bit. I really don't listen to a lot of rappers for real. Like, the music ain't the same how it used to be. So I'm tapped in. Like, I listen to Durk. Like, Durk is one of them dudes who, like, in the trenches. Like, when I listen to him, he put me back in my childhood. Like, you know what I mean? He put me at that place where it's like it's the feeling that you get. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, he one of the rappers I listen to. Drake, one of my favorite artists. I don't really listen to too many people though, for real. Like, if you go to my iTunes, my Apple Music, you will see like 3 rappers.
In terms of like Bay Area rap and Northern California rap and shit, what were the glory days from your perspective? Like the time period that you loved the most?
I say 2017, 2018 with SOB, All Black. I came out, Mozzy and Philthy. Everybody was like, that's when it was like the best times. I'm like them tours and that used to be crazy. And it was like I had one of the biggest songs, so it was like I was getting just as much love. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, that was like a crazy time in rap, like in the Bay.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I was around Shoreline Mafia a lot at that time period, and they were putting me on to all the shit that was popping off up there.
No, for sure.
And that's why it's funny when Northern California people are like LA rappers bite off us. I'm kind of like, yeah. Like if they were being real with themselves, some of them would have to admit that they taking a little bit of sauce from up north. Do you feel like that in general?
Everybody take a little sauce from somebody, man, at some point, man. So people, people be needing something to talk about, man. Everybody take a little sauce from somebody at some point in their rap career, man. I don't know.
Definitely. So, what are you motivated to get done throughout the rest of this year or the next couple of years?
I just been in the studio, crazy. Me and Larry June finna drop this record. It's gonna be crazy. I feel like it's gonna be a dope record. It's our first time like working. Me and Black, I've been knowing Black for years now, and we still ain't work, but we about to though. We about to, it's time to just start linking with everybody and really start, making music with everybody. Cause I was so anti and just so focused on me and just trying to stay safe. I don't really trust a lot of people to be linking and going to studios and doing all that. So I try to like stay away from a lot of people, but it's different. I'm,
definitely
working around.
That's dope, man. I appreciate you sharing the story with me.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Definitely
man.
Be safe out there.
Oh, for sure.
Because man, you're a wanted man. They don't like you too much.
They don't like me too much, but I get a lot of love. Somebody gonna love me from every project, but it's always the one coward who, you know what I'm saying, or a few who might feel a little different. But for the most part, I just try to, just continue being me. That's it, man. I don't try to be nobody else.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you for having me, bro.
Definitely. Everybody check my man Prezi out on all streaming platforms and social media, all that shit. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Prezi. No Jumper. Coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram. Like, comment, and subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support. Appreciate y'all.